Hello, clip channels. Yes, you can use this. I'm not going to make this into a video. So you can use this and make a clip out of it. So, Dream SMP, huh? Who would have thought Game Theory would be doing a video on Dream SMP, huh? I designed that flag. I have the original Photoshop file on my desktop for the Manberg flag. Okay, so when I remember it was summer last year, and Tommy in it was going onto the Dream SMP every day and just walking up and down, back and forth on this wooden path, and I was taking the piss out of him. For so long, because I used to say that him going on the Dream SMP, he wouldn't actually do anything. He just walk backwards and forwards and just on which I coined the name the Prime Path, and told him he was being a fucking boring sack of shit, and told him to actually do something. And he was like, no, but I'm just gonna do this. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna come on and I'm gonna make a ball, and then we'll get Jschlatt on. And I came on and made the ball, and then Dream Team Twitter got Jschlatt banned from the server, and like there was a huge controversy, and I kind of swore that I wouldn't go back on the server again after that, because I was like, yeah, that's not the vibe I want to be around, you know. That was a very sort of like snapfire issue that they jumped on, and I just wasn't a fan of it. So I said that I wasn't going to go on it anymore. Everyone's saluting because of the Manberg flag. Yes, my Manberg. Me gusta. We had to explain to Tommy what the me gusta meme was, by the way, because he didn't actually know it used to be a meme. But yeah, and I remember I said to Tommy, shall we make like a role play? And I said to him, look, I have this idea for like this geopolitical role play. Do you want to do it based around the show Breaking Bad? And he was like, yeah, okay. And then we had our first stream, and then Sapnat came and was like the police, and so we did the second stream where we made a wall and banned Americans, and then we decided to coin the Manberg, and then that's when me and Tommy started writing the scripts. So we started writing all the ideas that would happen. I had chats with Dream about what would happen with the Dream SMP, like getting involved, and then Tommy stepped back, and then I took over writing the entirety. I wrote every single thing from the end of the first revolution. By the way, the thing with Eric, didn't know that was going to happen. That was complete shock to me. That was a really cool bit. But yeah, so from the end of the first revolution to the November 16th war, which in my opinion was one of the best things I think I've made on the internet, was writing that November 16th war with everyone. The November 16th war, so from the end of the first revolution to the November 16th war was entirely written by me. I will take credit for that. I will cash in my chips there. Towards the end, I did have help from people, but everything had to come through me first. I was like the head writer, and then I stepped back because I wanted to work on Your New Boyfriend. And I was really happy with how November 16th went, and I wasn't going to keep doing it because I was like, I'm happy with how November 16th war went. I don't think I can improve on that, so I'm going to step back while I'm ahead, you know? And so from there, I have written nothing. Ghostbur is the only thing I've written on the Dream SMP, and even that I don't really know where to take with it, so I've kind of stopped. But yeah, so that was me. And I'm curious to see what MatPat thinks of it. I hope that he talks about me, because I quite like MatPat, and I hope he mentions me. I'm very excited. But yeah, so that's the backstory of what was actually written by me and what wasn't, because I know there's a lot of contention. But writing doesn't fucking matter. It's down to the fucking improv and the players who are on it, you know? And everyone was on it, and everyone was really cool. I hope he mentions some of the talented people that took part in it. That's not the national anthem. That's the American From Sea to Shining Sea. Ooh, he's mad. Okay, I've seen the intro.
Theory, the show that's like a baby zombie, small and unassuming, but persistent and dangerous. Today, I'm here to talk about the Dream SMP. And now that I've said that, I'm sure that all of my viewers probably fall into one of two camps. Those yelling, "At last our prayers are answered," and those that are wondering what the heck I'm talking about. So at this point, if you care at all about Minecraft or YouTube or Minecraft YouTubers, you've probably heard of a guy named Dream. He's become famous for a lot of things, including manhunt videos, unsolved mystery videos, as well as an appearance on one of this channel's very own Minecraft lore videos. Excuse me, why is there a big neon green block creature in my video? But one of the things that's really blown up over the course of the last year is the Dream SMP, or Survival Multiplayer Server. So you might be thinking, survival multiplayer server, so it's just Dream playing Minecraft with his friends.
Captain Puffy, H-Bomb, Dream.
Sort of. The truth is that the Dream SMP is to Minecraft survival multiplayer what professional wrestling is to, well, the sport of wrestling. Which is to say, it's structured improv. There's a story here, made by a team of writers. Yeah, writers, plural. It's not to say that everyone's reading from a script. While the broad strokes of the plot are planned out, all of the connective tissue between those major plot beats is improvised. And of course, there's room for plenty of unexpected gameplay moments. No. My thing!
That wasn't in the script. Just wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the world of professional wrestling, that is what we call a shoot, or a moment in professional wrestling that's unplanned, unscripted, or just an actual real-life occurrence. Am I ruining this for anyone in the audience? We all know that professional wrestling is scripted, right? Trying to summarize the timeline of the Dream SMP is like trying to summarize the timeline of the 20th century. If I tried to start, I'd have to cover the birth of a nation in no fewer than 4 separate wars. And that's not me making a joke or trying to make an analogy here. A lot of the story here is political in nature, with the ongoing narrative being one of a nation in turmoil, with warring political factions trying to gain power over the populace by any means necessary. And all of it is taking place within live streams. Lots and lots of very long live streams. There have been over 30 people involved in this thing, with the narrative playing out over hundreds of hours of live streaming. Actually, just saying hundreds of hours is understating it, because totaling up all the live streams across multiple channels to see the POV of multiple participants already gives you close to 100 videos to watch, and any one of those could be upwards of 6 to 8 hours in length. It feels almost impossible to catch up with this thing too, considering how often new live streams are happening. Seriously, I feel like I have to put a disclaimer here that the script for this video is being written right before Christmas, which almost guarantees that by the time it comes out, the things I'm predicting have either been proven right or horribly wrong. At the same time, I could not talk about this thing. It was, without question, the biggest thing happening in gaming in 2020, just behind Among Us. A group of friends blowing up together on Twitch because they're using Minecraft to create an ongoing improv narrative is incredible and absolutely worthy of attention. Plus, I was getting a lot of requests on Twitter to do a theory about this, and I didn't want to ignore you guys. At MattPatGT, by the way. Plus, I'm a musical theater nerd. I hear a Hamilton reference, I like it.
I practice law. Wilbur, work next door.
Even though we started at the very same time, Tommy in it began to climb. How to account for his rise to the top.
Man, the Hamilton references are non-stop. And since we are on the subject of Hamilton the musical actually provides a really good framework for how to approach telling a story with the scope of everything that's happening in the Dream SMP.
Yes,
Much like Hamilton took a series of history-defining events spanning several decades and condensed it down into a 3-hour musical character study, this theory is going to be taking a series of events spanning several months of 6+ hour long live streams and condense it down into, well, something kind of resembling a character study centering on one specific hero. And spoilers for those of you who don't know the ending of Hamilton, but this story also ends in tragedy. In short, today's video is all about who history has had its eyes on and who you should have your eyes on going forward in the Dream SMP. And spoiler alert, he's already dead. And with that intro, allow me to tell you the tragic tale of the rise and fall of a tyrant and why he might be
wait, me and Jschlatt are the only dead characters, right?
From beyond the grave. For a bit of background, there are several major factions that exist within the Dream SMP, the largest of which is, confusingly enough, named Dream SMP. For the sake of clarity, most have taken to referring to this faction as the Greater Dream SMP, and I'm going to follow their lead. It's the closest thing to being a neutral faction, almost a sort of default faction for the characters who haven't split off to do their own thing. As you might guess, it's led by its founder, Dream. Dream also gets executive veto over who's allowed in the server. For instance, back in July, when Jschlatt joined the server for the first time, he was banned very shortly after, since Dream didn't know him. When it's your party, you get to decide who's on the guest list, I suppose. The first major faction to declare its independence from the greater Dream SMP was Manberg back in late July, with the war for independence between Manberg and the Dream Team faction finally settling in early August. Manberg started as an autocratic nation-state with self-appointed dictator, President Wilbur Soot, presiding with Tommy in it as his right-hand man. However, that dictator for life thing didn't really pan out long-term. After all, a ruler only rules by the consent of the governed, and despite the fact that Wilbur Soot had declared himself supreme leader, the citizens weren't taking his orders all that seriously. So what do you do if you want to shore up legitimacy as a ruler? You hold a democratic election.
I'm running for president. The reason I'm running for president is because, well, I felt like it was unfair of me to decide myself to be a dictator.
Okay, so maybe if you want to believe the man himself, it was because he grew a conscience. Anyway, Wilbur Soot, joined by Tommy in it as his running mate, ran as the Politicians of Gaming, or POG for short. The problem with democratic elections is that, well, people can run against you. Quackity, who'd been up to that point a Manberg outsider, decided to run against him because, well, you've got to have yourself an opposition party.
My name is Quackity, and I'm running for president simply because I didn't think it was fair for Wilbur Soot to run a one-party democratic election, or so democratic as he wants to call it. It's very unfair for Wilbur and all the people in Manberg to vote for just one party.
Quackity ran under the party banner of So We Are Gamers, or SWAG for short, choosing George Not Found as his running mate, who promptly lived up to his name by failing to show up to the presidential debate.
This is really well researched. This is good.
You heard me right. Presidential debate. The parties of SWAG 2020 and POG 2020 ran full-on campaigns, including key endorsements. Quackity was at an immediate disadvantage here, as his one key alleged endorsement, KSI, never actually showed up.
My one endorsement is KSI. He just hasn't happened to respond yet to my endorsement plea. He's my one endorsement.
KSI? More like KSI Not Found. Him and George Not Found playing Yahtzee in the
Very
corner.
funny
Wilbur
matchup,
and Tommy in it, wanting to assure the voters that they were the party that best represented the will of the people, touted several key endorsements. The most notable of them came from Jschlatt. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait, Jschlatt, didn't I just say that he was banned back in July, several months before the election took place? And that was what the crowd said too. But apparently a server ban wasn't about to stop Wilbur and Tommy from bringing him in to deliver the key endorsement.
Now, after doing a lot of negotiations,
Get out
boys,
of here. I've got
managed
my endorsement. Here he comes. The one, the only.
He's backing down!
Except Jschlatt's endorsement speech went very quickly off the rails.
Democracy is overrated. You think you need a president? I'll be my own president.
Stick to the script. Off the stage, please. Off the stage.
Anyway, with this wild card entering the race, things had thoroughly gone to chaos. With Jschlatt actually challenging him, Wilbur and Tommy decided to resort to political horse trading. In order to avoid the possibility of a Jschlatt presidency, why not invite SWAG 2020 to join POG 2020 to form a giant super party, SWAG? A fusion event so great that it would be guaranteed to beat Jschlatt. Unfortunately, it backfired. The good news was that Quackity, who didn't actually want to be president and was only running as a challenger to Wilbur, was willing to give his party's votes to another party. The bad news was that he chose Jschlatt.
I was enticed by your SWAG idea until you immediately admitted to me that you would only use me for votes. You guys have clearly been trying to use me this entire time. So it's Jschlatt 2020.
It's the kind of thing that makes you think maybe from the start that this was all a ruse by Jschlatt, promising to endorse POG 2020 only to get himself unbanned and then enter the fray and take over for himself.
That's not many people realize that.
Big brain maneuvers. In the end, POG 2020 won 45% of the vote, SWAG 2020 won 30% of the vote, Jschlatt won 16% of the vote.
And
with
Coconut
SWAG giving its votes to Jschlatt, Jschlatt wins the election with a combined total of 46%, barely beating out POG's 45%. And that is where the reign of terror begins. Jschlatt, having effectively hijacked the democratic process, decided that it was time to run
coalition
the old
wasn't really a
party out of
hijack.
town.
My first decree as the president
of Manberg,
the emperor
of this great nation,
is to
revoke the citizenship Wilbur Soot and Tommy in it.
Get him out of here.
Wilbur Soot and Tommy in it were exiled. The POG 2020 campaign was no more, but it lived on in spirit within the nation of POG.
It's my Reagan jumper.
Base of operations and working with a few members of the administration
Matt loves
who
Ronald
managed to
Reagan,
avoid
apparently.
exile. That's right. They had a spy on the inside of Jschlatt's operation, and that spy's name
Tubbo.
was Tubbo.
Yes.
Despite winning the election, Jschlatt wasn't really winning over the people. You know, calling democracy a lie,
mean, Fundy loved
immediately
Jschlatt.
exiling half the population,
And
gonna win you
Alyssa
too
and
many friends.
Punk
So to
weren't
get a few
part of the-
popularity points,
Okay,
he
whatever.
began planning the Manberg Festival as a celebration of democracy.
I
with
wrote this.
Tubbo
This
to
is
plan the
mine.
events and deliver the
I
keynote speech.
drew
Tubbo
up
and
this
the old guard
invitation.
seized the
I drafted
opportunity
that
to upstage
invitation.
the festival by placing TNT under the event stage. All Tubbo had to do was to give his speech and run away before the TNT went off, but Jschlatt had other plans.
Our people have been beaten down by rulers and dictators for
Okay,
so long.
that bit's a bit off. So the TNT wasn't placed as a strategy to take down Jschlatt. The TNT was placed as an exit strategy for Wilbur to rid the world of Manberg. That was the Oh, that was Nikki, not Alyssa. Oh, okay, yeah. Nikki definitely didn't like Jschlatt. But the TNT wasn't there to stop Jschlatt entirely. It was there to stop Manberg. You know, it was because Wilbur... yeah, you get it.
We are finally free. Free to elect who we want. Free to live how we want. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to this wonderful event. What's wrong, Jschlatt?
No, it's just... I was just thinking about it, Tubbo.
Nothing sinister at all about that laugh. By the end of the speech, Jschlatt had encased the undercover spy Tubbo in yellow concrete, sentencing him to immediate execution.
Help me do something real quick.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Immediately, in case the slowest...
I know what you've been up to.
Actually,
With the tyrants that we kicked out of this server, that we kicked out of this great country. Do you know what happens to traitors, Tubbo?
Tubbo was sentenced to death by rocket launcher, with Tubbo's ally Technoblade being the one to serve as executioner. There was a
True.
little accidental collateral damage, with Jschlatt also dying in the explosion, but don't worry,
That's
he
the
got
shoot.
better. Across all of
That's
these
the
events,
shoot.
one thing should be painfully clear. Jschlatt is, in D&D terms, totally lawful.
He's looked at my thing. He's looked at my fucking MatPat, credit me, bro. That's my alignment chart. I made that. Surely he saw that. Surely, yeah? I hope so. That'll be cool.
Evil. Wilbur Soot, not the character, but the out-of-character right...
Am I being featured in a... Oh, I'm being featured in a game theory video. No fucking way. Why am I getting emotional at that? What the fuck? What? You're fucking me. No way. Am I actually gonna...
who's the closest thing we have to a creative authority for this chapter of the SMP, confirmed in a Reddit post, quote, Jschlatt is very lawful evil. Jschlatt follows one creed. I was elected fairly. I will rule until I lose the next election. He uses this power malevolently to assert dominance and punish rebellious factions. Emphasis on punishment. Jschlatt isn't very concerned with keeping order or even maintaining justice. His priority is delivering suffering and pain to those he sees as deserving it under the law. Now, after this failed attempt at insurgency, it was only inevitable that Jschlatt's Manberg would go to war with Pogtopia, with Jschlatt's reign of terror coming to an end in the most anticlimactic way possible. Running away from the fighting, stumbling into the hot dog van that originally served as the nexus for Wilbur Soot and Tommy and its drug empire, getting drunk and experiencing what appeared to be a stroke or a heart attack.
Anybody smell toast?
For those of you who don't know, smelling toast is actually a classic symptom of having a stroke. Anyway, the much beloved leader received a massive funeral, with everyone behaving with exactly the level of reverence and decorum that you'd expect them to show for Jschlatt.
His entire body was picked apart and taken.
What remains weren't taken as souvenirs, were recovered by Quackity as part of a plot of his own.
I have a plan. Within my possession are all 5 of Jschlatt's bones. I busted that grave open and I took it.
Wait, you're gonna try and bring Jschlatt back to life?
We bring Jschlatt
Wait, is he?
back to life. But you know what?
So has he
Frankenstein?
skipped over Manberg's detonation? Are we not? I was being silent because I was thinking, are they going to talk about Manberg, because Manberg being blown up was a huge reason for a lot of the plot points that follow. Surely.
Did when he brought Frankenstein 2 back to life. Frankenstein 2 was under his command. You know what this means? We can use Jschlatt as a political puppet.
Quackity, did you actually read the book? Because if your takeaway was Frankenstein animated a monster and it was completely under his control and totally did not backfire at all, you might want to read a few of those chapters again. So with that level setting out of the way, what follows are my predictions about the future of the Dream SMP.
Wait, have I missed something? Because he did the festival. He does talk about the explosion. Okay, did I miss it?
It all centers around one man in particular. First off, in case it wasn't obvious, we haven't seen the last of Jschlatt. And I'm not just talking about his appearance as a ghost in a live stream of questionable canonicity.
Is this like part of the plot that you guys script?
It's pretty. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. How are you doing?
He's been too big a player for far too long to simply be written out of existence. And more importantly, the groundwork has been laid for his eventual resurrection. Wilbur Soot mentioned on a live stream that the team was playing with the idea that each character gets 3 canon deaths before it's considered permanent.
Everyone gets 3.
Everyone gets 3 canon deaths.
Before they real life die, yes.
Even if we count Jschlatt's death during the festival rocket launcher explosion as canon, between that and his heart attack / stroke, he's yet to use up all his lives.
No. He's no, he definitely has used up his lives. That's all 3, right? Hold on, I need to Google because I'm pretty sure. Unless I've missed something from my calculations. I haven't written in a while. Yeah, killed by Quackity on the day after. Yeah, so Quackity kills Jschlatt and he calls him. Yeah, no, I wrote that. I fucking wrote that. Hold on. Wait. Let me find the exact part of the script. I'm not gonna read it out. I just want to check that I'm right. Okay. All right. Maybe I didn't actually.
This is too good of an opportunity for history to repeat
not written
itself
down
in
as
an absolutely poetic fashion.
Let me explain. It's not written down as a canon thing, which is an important takeaway. I just had it in my head it was, but obviously I'm not writing, so for now I'm not writing. So yeah, this is airtight so far. This is true.
Because while Jschlatt is lawful evil and motivated to punish people for going against him, his role as Punisher is much more central than that. Jschlatt is almost like a karmic force of the universe who punishes people for their hubris. Remember.
Wait, so I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing at just imagine because obviously Schlatt's my mate.
To punish people for going against him, his role as Punisher is much more central than that.
Right. I want you to imagine that the Dream SMP doesn't exist. Right? Imagine the Dream SMP doesn't exist. And just imagine MatPat saying this.
Jschlatt is almost like a karmic force of the universe who punishes people for their hubris.
Oh, that's good.
Remember, the entire reason he was able to rejoin the server in the first place was because the POG 2020 party thought it would be politically advantageous for them to receive his endorsement. They looked to use Jschlatt as a tool to achieve their own political ends, and it backfired horribly, leading to them not only losing the election, but being forced into exile by the monster they had helped to create, ultimately leading to an all-out war against the faction that he usurped from them. And now we have ourselves a cackling Quackity saying that he plans to use the powers of necromancy to reanimate Jschlatt as a political puppet, so now he can seize control of Manberg. Quackity, have you learned nothing? Based on the comment about Frankenstein's monster, the answer seems to be yes. It's my view that Jschlatt, more than being a mere villain here, is really more like a force of nature, something that people have and will continue to try and harness for their own end, with predictable results every time. Anytime someone starts thinking of seizing power for themselves, like Wilbur Soot did in the early days of Manberg, and like Quackity's done more recently, it'll end predictably, with Jschlatt conniving some scheme that results in him returning to the game and him eventually sitting on the throne, with the people around him being forced to do battle against the very monster they helped to create. Much like the Joker in The Dark Knight, his real power hinges on his ability to bring out the worst in others. And the only way for him to lose is for the people around him.
MatPat has studied this. That is an in-depth look. I'm impressed.
To allow their better selves to take over.
So chat, in case you're wondering, so the way I wrote the original Dream SMP stuff was what I wanted to center everything around was the idea of the it was the idea that the characters were not the story. The story housed the characters. Do you know what I mean? So for instance, you wouldn't see Wilbur Soot having his own episode, and you wouldn't see Tommy in it having his own episode. You know, so you wouldn't get a part of the story where Wilbur Soot finds a magic sword. You know, like the stories that do that are fine. But I wanted the entire base of the. Oh, by the way, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I'm tired. I wanted the base of the Dream SMP idea to be that the characters existed in a tumultuous sort of cyclone world, and that the characters were being pushed and pulled and shaped by the actions and the events around them. So what he's picked up on is that, in fact, the character of Jschlatt is not some character who's just there to be the bad guy. He is the force that is helping shape the character. That is good, deep thinking. He's really tried to... Good job, MatPat. I'm not just saying that as a massive fanboy. Good
Until
job.
then, Jschlatt will continue to be a relentless force, delivering karmic irony upon those who think they can use him as a puppet. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Fuck, dude.
Thanks for watching.
Man. Le man. That's so good. I am just happy. We've done something so cool. We've done something so cool, haven't we, guys? Holy shit, man. I hope I'm allowed to come back and write. I really want to write more for the Dream SMP. I have time now. I have the time. Maybe after the next arc I'm going to ask, because the problem is I wouldn't just want to be one of the writers, I'd want to be the head writer again. I'd want to take over head writing. If they'll let me, I want to come back. Man. Shit. I'm just going to kind of sit here for a moment, I think, after you guys are gone. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.